All right. Monday Night Raw is over. Let's talk about it. Tonight's Monday Night Raw was a pretty solid show, I must say, with a pretty good ending to end tonight's show. A lot of good wrestling tonight. We had Javon Evans versus JD, El Fescal versus Ray Phoenix in the AAA WWE tournament to see who would face Roman Reigns. We also had Dr. Wagner Jr. taking on Dragon Lee. Tonight's episode of Raw was a lot of wrestling tonight, which you don't really get on Monday Night Raw all the time. You get a lot of, you get your matches, but they don't go the length of time that they gave tonight's matches. It was actually kind of a breath of fresh air tonight on Monday Night Raw with what we got with the matches from the tournament, from JD and Javon to Lyra and Sol. And then the main event, of course, was pretty solid where Roman obviously calls out Solo. The Usos bring him out. They end up attacking Solo, which leads to LA Knight to come out to the ring. And this is when we had the interesting part of the segment happen, where Jacob attacks Solo from behind, and Roman did not like that. Roman pretty much told Jacob, "I didn't ask for you to do that. You stay there and do nothing and watch me." It's kind of paraphrasing what Roman Reigns told Jacob. And that's when we got this. We had Solo turn on Roman, which we all knew was going to eventually happen, where Jacob just stood there in the corner and did absolutely nothing. And then that's when Jacob and LA Knight, Solo and LA Knight double teamed on Roman, ended up taking out the Usos. Really good ending. What will happen with Jacob now? Will Roman confront Jacob and ask him, why the hell didn't you do anything? I'm sure the Usos will. It's going to be interesting to see what Roman does. Now, he's not advertised for Monday Night Raw next week. We have no clue when we'll get any type of interaction between him and Jacob. But Jacob didn't do nothing. Jacob listened to Roman. Roman told him to stand back and do nothing, and he did that. He didn't do anything. He didn't attack Solo. He didn't attack LA Knight after that. He just sat there and did nothing. He also, during the segment, gave each of the Usos Uafalas of their own. Called them the captain of the bloodline. And Jacob did not like that because Jacob didn't get one himself, who has been kind of carrying the bloodline of late, helping them get wins, taking out Royce Keys without any help. Yet Roman crowns Jay and Jimmy, and they haven't really done anything without helping each other to win matches. So it's going to be interesting to see where this Bloodline segment goes. I thought it was a really good segment to end Raw, and I'm kind of done with the Bloodline itself. But this has me intrigued. I'm going to give it a shot and give it a chance to see what they do with this. But pew pew for Solo. That was a really good segment. Lyra and Sol had a really solid match against each other. Sol picks up the win, which I'm not a big fan of. I think Sol should have lost, especially when you're building up a new character for Lyra. I just think that was a bad mistake on creative there to having Sol win that match. Oba and Braun Breaker. Whew. What a segment that was. This is all about a battle of who is the future of WWE. Which they were going to go at it tonight. Paul Heyman stopped Braun and Oba in their tracks, saying that you don't just have a match randomly on Raw of this magnitude. You have this match set up and built, and we're going to get it on Sunday night's main event between Oba and Braun Breaker in Braun Breaker's hometown. Home field advantage for Braun Breaker. It's going to be an interesting match. Again, I have my thoughts on this, where what do you do with Braun, because he's probably going to lose, and what do you do next with him? But I'm loving this Braun Breaker character, where he is just focused all about beating the shit out of Oba Femi and proving that he is the future of the WWE. I really do like that. And we'll see what happens at Sunday night's main event. Next week we do get a contract signing. I'm sure we'll get some physicality in that match. Someone going through a table or something. Contract signing. So we'll have to wait and see what happens next week. The two tournament matches tonight, we had Ray Phoenix defeat El Fescal, and then Dragon Lee taking on Dr. Wagner Jr. And obviously, Dragon Lee picked up the win. So we got Dragon Lee versus Ray Phoenix. La Parka versus Penta. I mean, we all know that it's going to be Penta and Ray. The only shot of it not happening is if Dragon Lee defeats Ray Phoenix, which would just blow my mind. Ray and Penta is the money match in the finals. That match will be so damn good. Obviously, this is going to be ended up with Penta versus Roman for the title in Mexico City. But yeah, I didn't really care for the AAA WWE matches tonight. I just don't think they really hit their stride. But I think Ray Phoenix and Dragon Lee next week is going to be an absolute banger, and so will I think Penta and La Parka. But match of the night, by far, was Rey Mysterio and Chad Gable. That match was unbelievable. If you cannot watch Monday Night Raw in its entirety tonight, and you can only pick one thing to watch, and if you don't want to watch a Bloodline segment, go out of your way and watch Gable versus Rey Mysterio. Those two guys had an absolute banger of a match tonight. Rey Mysterio at 51 years old with all those knee surgeries, going out there and doing what he did tonight. Man, that match was incredible. The crowd was not into it at first, but then slowly developed into the match, and they were super into it because there was spots in the match where you thought possibly Rey Mysterio was going to pick up the win. Chad Gable does end up winning and defeating Rey Mysterio in one of the best matches we have seen on Raw all year. Fantastic match. Props to both Chad Gable and Rey Mysterio. We did have another segment with Stephanie, Becky, and Liv Morgan. Stephanie will get her first match after a couple of months next week against Roxanne. If you're going to guess, you would probably have to either say triple threat with all three of them, Liv, Stephanie, and Becky, or number one contender shot, Stephanie and Becky at Sunday night's main event. We'll have to wait and see what happens. But I thought Monday Night Raw was pretty solid, both on the wrestling side and the storyline side. What did you guys think of Monday Night Raw? Let me know in the comments. Hit that follow button. We'll see you guys next week for Monday Night Raw.